Hello, everyone. It's Friday the 13th, May 13th, 2022. I appreciate you being with us today, and we've got tough news but good news. We have 11 people that we've lost since the last time we were here, but really and truly it's only 2. We have 9 reconciliation deaths, and I ask for your prayers. I do it all the time, and I can tell you that our family is in prayer all the time for all these great people and the great wisdom that we lost in West Virginia, and 6,893 folks, and it's astronomical, but please keep them in your prayers. Please, please, please do that. The 6,883rd death is an 82-year-old male from Marshall County. The 6,884th death, a 90-year-old female from Marion County. The 6,885th death, a 69-year-old female from Fayette County. The 6,886th death, a 69-year-old female from Kanawha County. The 6,887th death, a 74-year-old male from Jefferson County. The 6,888th death is a 69-year-old male from Greenbrier County. The 6,889th death is The 6,889th death is a 98-year-old male from Mercer County. The 6,890th death is an 87-year-old female from Berkeley County. The 6,891st death is a 72-year-old male from Wirt County. The 6,892nd death, and I hate this so bad, but is a 39-year-old female from Wayne County. And the 6,893rd death is a 49-year-old male from Wayne County. Prayers. And please reach out to these people if you would, please. Active cases continue to rise. This is a big bump. 1,658 active cases now. 491 new cases in West Virginia. Daily positivity rate is at 7.94. Cumulative rate is hanging in there at 8.10. Recovered cases are a little above 496,000, almost 497,000 now. 119 people hospitalized, 25 in the ICU units and 11 on ventilators. And we got still more counties in our state are green than yellow, but if you'll just pay close attention and look, we've got 35 green counties and 20 yellow counties now. This thing's not gone. It's just not gone. That's all there is to it. And any of us that think that are just not thinking right. We've got to find a way to live with this. We've got the way right at our fingertips. Absolutely, with all in us, this is something that is manageable. It is something that absolutely, the number of total hospitalizations and deaths, if we take our booster shots, our vaccinations, is absolutely minimal, very, very minimal, and very, very much a long shot of something really bad happening. You've got to get your boosters. You've got to get your vaccinations. And then go live your life. I mean, we want to be super respectful. I've said it 1,000 times. But absolutely, we know from this is manageable now, and we really, really need to take advantage of that. The numbers still get a little better. We're at 90.9% now of the 65 and olders that have had at least one shot. I don't know how you argue with that. It continues to move up. Yesterday I was talking at a senior center and everything. It's been a long time since we've been able to get out and everything and give away the monies to the winners and everything on the Do It for Baby Dog stuff, with our seniors. But we went to Lincoln County. I'll tell you about that in just a second. But there I was trying to remember and recite what General Hoyer told us just a few days ago. I think he used the 30-day period from April the 10th to May the 10th, but nevertheless, it was 6,421 new people, not booster shots, new people had gotten their first shot in the state of West Virginia. Well, it's hard to argue that with me. Sure, it's exhausting and all that, just being here from the standpoint of going over and over and over these numbers, briefing after briefing after briefing. I remember just like it was yesterday, our first briefing, and a lot of the reporters said, "Are you going to be here, for the next one tomorrow?" Well, I've never missed one, but with all that in me, it's tough, but it has absolutely gotten more and more and more people across the finish line. Today in the state of West Virginia, we have 1,129,213 people that have gotten their first dose. And without any question, in the last 30 days plus, right there when General Hoyer was telling us 6,400 got their first dose. 2 years later, we continue to be here encouraging folks, and we have success. Now, do we want it to be more? Sure we want it to be more. But you can't argue with what we've done, and we continue to try to push to get more and more and more people across the finish line. Vaccine calculator, all that stuff's up. Vaccine, info line, all that. Take advantage of the free testing. 38 outbreaks, that's church outbreaks right now. 15 inmates and 20 staff cases in corrections that have this. I've reminded you over and over and over, about the rental assistance program, basically the tax-free financial assistance to renters and to landlords in West Virginia. I mean, isn't that big? I mean, really and truly tax-free assistance. I mean, absolutely, all you've got to do is call us and see and walk through just a little bit of time to see if we can get you qualified. And if we can, there's real assistance there available to you. From the standpoint of homeowners, got the same kind of situation, please call us and see if we can get you qualified and everything to be able to help you, and not only help you, but help all of us in West Virginia. I remind you about giving blood, how important that is and everything. I've said it 1,000 times, but if you have recovered from this dreaded disease, check with your physician. Some people, the physician is going to come back and say, no, not a good idea, not a good idea. Okay, that's great, but check. And just possibly, it'll come back that it's perfectly fine. Go ahead and give the blood and everything. We need it. The Red Cross is dependent on you. All of us are dependent on you. The Job Jumpstart program, like I've said over and over, I'm tickled to death. I'll never forget going through that drive-through window and those two ladies say, "We did it. We did it. We got back to work, and we did that because of this program. Right here, this program that we copied from the people in Oklahoma. This program right here got us back to work." And absolutely with all that, then my first response to them, "Are you happy to be back to work?" And you could see it all over them. They were so proud of themselves. They absolutely had lost so much hope. Now they're back to work, and they're so proud of themselves in every way. God bless them and everything, and absolutely we want to, I know we've got historic low unemployment in West Virginia, 6 months, 6 records in a row, and I know all that, but it can even get better. And so that's great stuff. It helps our businesses, but it really is great for these great people. I'm doing a proclamation today, and I'm signing that proclamation to declare today Children of Fallen Patriots Day. There's tens of thousands of children across this nation that are children of those that have lost, a loved one or a parent in the line of duty. And I just can't fathom. I'll never say, "Oh, I know what you're going through." There's no way any of us know what they're going through. And because it's different, and it's pain at a different level to all of our families and everything. And so God bless each and every one of those. And we've got, our Secretary of Veterans Assistance, Ted Diaz, on with us today, and maybe, Ted, you could add a little bit more to this.
Thank you, Governor Justice. In the last 40 years, more than 20,000 children lost a parent in the line of duty, and many more have lost parents to the wounds that have incurred in the war after they returned. My department has worked with several of these children through our War Orphan Education Program, which provides tuition assistance or tuition-free education at our state colleges and universities. We'll continue to do everything that we can to help support the children of our fallen brothers and sisters in arms. I'd like to thank Governor Justice for setting this day aside to honor the children whose lives were forever altered because of their parents' service to our country and our state. I'd also like to thank him for empowering us to continue to assist veterans and the surviving family members of our fallen heroes.
Ted, thank you so much. And let me just say this. I can say it so easily. Our Secretary of Veterans Assistance, Ted Diaz, all you've got to do is just listen to him and look in his eyes. You'll see his soul. You'll see somebody that really, really cares. I would tell you with all in me, I believe we owe every single thing we have in our bodies, every fiber of who we are, we owe to the great men and women that have supported us through the military forever. I mean, that's all there is to it. We owe them so much, it's off the chart. Here all we're doing is a proclamation for those children. Without any question, if you're out somewhere and you see someone and you can recognize that they're a veteran, maybe they've got a hat on, whatever it may be, maybe somebody knows them and everything, take 10 seconds. Take 10 seconds to just go thank them. It'll make you feel good. I'm a real believer that the giver is always the one that wins. Just give, just absolutely. If you can, buy their meal, whatever it may be, but a handshake and a thanks goes a long, long way. Active military veterans, whomever it may be. We owe them so much, it's off the chart. Yesterday, I issued a proclamation in accordance with the presidential proclamation, ordering that all U.S. and West Virginia flags on all state-owned facilities be displayed at half-staff through sunset on Monday, May the 16th. Now just think about this. And what is this all about? It's in remembrance for 1 million Americans that we've lost in this COVID-19 battle. 1 million Americans. It's just unbelievable, unbelievable. And we continue to fight, and we're going to get through it, but it is such a shame, and it is so sad in many ways. Please absolutely, recognize the remembrance of all these great people. Like I said to you a minute ago, we went to Lincoln County yesterday. We gave away a check for $100,000 to the I think it was the Hamlin. It's called the Hamlin Senior Center. We had Baby Dog with us, and there's a lot of great people there and everything. And those people, they pushed really, really hard. There, as far as their numbers of folks that they got vaccinated with their booster shots and their booster clinics was off the chart. That's Bill Carpenter right there. And what an incredible job he does over and over and over. And I think they've got, I think it was 6 facilities in 2 counties, in Wayne and Lincoln County. And, I couldn't be more proud, to be there and get to, this has been in the works now for months and months, and we haven't been able to go and get this all worked out. But I was tickled to death to be there. It was a good day. met a lot of great folks and everything, and it was really, really good, really good. Later yesterday evening, we went to the June Harless Center Award ceremony and everything. I'm really, really proud of, they inducted 4 incredible people and everything into their Hall of Fame. And one of those last night and everything that they inducted was our First Lady Kathy Justice, for all the incredible work that Kathy's been doing with communities and schools. They started out with nothing. And really and truly, at the end of the day, there was only one county in the state of West Virginia that had communities and schools, and I've said it over and over, but Kathy has taken that along with, as her real project, and she is so committed, and it's amazing what they've done. And now today, I think we're in, I don't know the exact counties, but I think 38 counties. The goal is to get in all 55 counties. It's like 75,000 students are now involved in communities and schools in one way or another and everything. It is absolutely amazing. If you, and I don't say this, lightly in any way, but if you absolutely were in the schools and you could see children that were maybe unruly or disruptive or whatever it may be, or having just a really struggling time, to be able to keep up. And you would see what these people are doing, just reaching out and helping them just a little bit. Absolutely, heads, instead of being dropped, all of a sudden rose way up. And when they did, then all of a sudden what you see is sometimes the most problematic student became the best student. And absolutely, so many of these folks are on their way now to doing really, really good stuff. I mean, I've seen lots and lots and lots of programs in our school system. We want our school system to be better for all, do we not? Do we not? And with all of that and everything, I've seen lots and lots of stuff that kind of worked. But I know, and I'm telling you from the very bottom of my heart, this is the real deal. And this has really worked. Now, it won't work unless you have people that are really passionate that are driving it. You couldn't have anybody more passionate than Kathy. Kathy is just the real deal, a really good person, and she's worked it really hard, and it's worked. It's really, really, really working. I'd like to say one other thing real quick. But one of the other, recipients last night, or inductees, was Dolly Parton. And the Dolly Parton Foundation has done unbelievable work in basically supplying books to kids, to encourage them to learn, to encourage them to read, to let them know that somebody is there looking after them, and somebody, the bottom line is that somebody really cares. And so, it just was a great night and everything. It's an incredible organization. And last thing I'd say, real quick, I've got to go back to this and everything, but Buck Harless was a really dear friend of my family, especially my dad, but me as well. And we were together all the time. And, just the thing that I always, I always think about, 4 kings in my life, real kings. They were all private business owners. They weren't great big public companies. They were real people. Naturally, one at the top of my list was the best man in my wedding, my dad. Then Lawson Hamilton, then Tracy Hilton, and without any question, Buck Harless. Absolutely all 4 of those people continue to try to make life better for many, many, many folks in West Virginia, especially throughout southern West Virginia. Now, there was all kinds of people in other areas of our state, but to me, those were the 4 kings. And so, a real honor for me to be there last night. Real, proud of what Kathy, Kathy being inducted, and just a great night. And so thank everybody again. And from the standpoint of, Dan Millette and Dolly Parton and Stan and Barbara Maynard. Stan and Barbara Maynard were there, and and they'd been with this organization and Buck for a long time. And boy, the message that they came up with last night at the end was spectacular. So the long and short of the whole deal is a great night for me, a great night for Kathy, a great night for our family. We're going to be in Welch at 4 o'clock today. We're going to have a major announcement regarding a new section of the Coalfield Expressway in Welch. I don't know how it gets any better than that, but anybody in that area or the media, please come, and we're going to live stream it as well. But great stuff going on there. I'm going to go through the rest of this pretty quickly here, but I've directed the PEIA to raise their salary tiers by $2,700. The increase of the salary tiers will prevent policyholders from moving up into a higher tier that will result in your pay raise, or a portion of your pay raise going to pay additional taxes and everything. We're trying to have that not be the case. We're having that, from the standpoint of, any out-of-pocket, issues that we don't want to incur that. What we want to do is continue in every, but without, let me go back and just read this. Without this change, more than 50,000 active state fund employees would have been adversely impacted. Well, we don't want that. I have always vowed to you not to increase PEIA state fund premiums while I'm in office, and I have done exactly that, and I'm going to hold absolutely true to my word. This will be the third historic 5% pay raise. It's good stuff, great stuff, and everything. And the last thing I've got is the DHHR programs. We've got, there's 2 of them out there, but there's a water assistance program that you can still absolutely be eligible for. In March, DHHR announced applications will be accepted for the low-income household water assistance program. There's still money available in this program. This federally funded program assists eligible state residents in paying water bills and or wastewater bills. Eligibility for the water assistance program is based on income and household size. You just need to contact us and see if you could qualify. There's another program called the Emergency Energy Assistance Program. It follows about the same kind of guidelines and everything. They're in DHHR. Please contact us and see if we can get you qualified. Anyway, thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Governor. Let's now go to retired Major General Jim Hoyer, the director of our Joint Interagency Task Force.
Good morning. A couple updates to highlight. Hospital numbers continue to move up slightly, but stay relatively stable. We bounced between 100 and 130 COVID patients in our hospitals across the state over the last several days. So still very manageable and holding steady. Our vaccine calculator is now over 220,000 people have completed the calculation. So just this week alone, 20,000 people have completed the calculations for vaccinations. We have some updates that are now on the calculator, particularly for healthcare providers. And Dr. Marsh will walk through those on next week when he returns. Governor, yesterday, 142 additional West Virginians went out and got their first dose. So we continue to keep moving the needle with many West Virginians, and 142 yesterday alone got their first dose. We also have some additional engagements coming up with the Council of Churches, as well as with pediatricians throughout the state, to continue to inform and educate folks about the value of the vaccines and the importance going forward. And last thing I'd like to do, just to highlight what the governor has talked about related to losing over 1 million Americans to this deadly virus and the things that have been done to recognize that. I went back and looked over the history of our nation. There are 10 engagements or 10 wars that this country has been involved in that have led to producing the highest number of combat casualties that our nation has faced. They range from World War II with 291,557 to down to the 10th highest was the Mexican-American War with 1,733. If you add all 10 of those together, the combat casualties from those 10 events, it's 659,287 great Americans were lost in those combat-related events. You would still have to add 340,713 to that number to reach the 1 million people that we've lost to COVID in just over 2 years. And 95% of those people are over the age of 50. That is why the governor continues to press us, and we as a group continue to press to make sure West Virginians go out and get vaccinated and take care of themselves when they do get sick with this terrible virus, so that we can protect those West Virginians, particularly over the age of 50. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next is Secretary Bill Crouch with the DHHR.
Good morning. This is National National Hospital Week. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of our West Virginia hospitals, the Hospital Association, especially Jim Kaufman and Jim Kransky Association, who have been terrific partners for the last 2 years and prior to that. We appreciate the leadership of the hospitals and also the staff of the hospitals, the nurses, the technicians, the medical assistants. Everyone in the hospital industry has stepped up over the last 2 years. They've been a critical part, played a critical role in the governor's response to COVID-19 through a variety of means. So we thank you so much for the partnership. We appreciate the effort that you put forth, and we thank you for that effort. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Secretary. Dr. Amjad and Dr. Marsh had prior engagements today and will rejoin us next week. We'll now go to questions from members of the media. The first today from Evan Bevins with Ogden Newspapers.
Thank you very much. I was wanting to check in with the numbers continuing to increase. I know, General Hoyer, you said earlier this week that you believe that wasn't yet connected to the surge we're seeing nationwide from the Omicron variant. Is that still what you're seeing? And do you know how many cases of that variant we have in West Virginia?
General, please.
Yes, sir, Governor. So, Evan, I think our data team is characterized. We are in the transition from the spike that we saw with spring break and Easter to starting to see the front end for us of that national surge. I don't have any updates on the specific variants, but we'll get that for you for the next week's press conference. But as mentioned, we have been bouncing back and forth this week between around 100 and 130 hospital COVID-related patients. So we continue to monitor that specifically. We have seen our RT rate, our transmission rate, stay above about 1 to 1.1 for the last week. So we know that coming out of that, we will see some additional challenges going forward over the next couple of weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, Evan. Next to Charles Young with WV News.
Hi, this is Charles Young with WV News. As several of you on the panel mentioned, we just surpassed 1 million COVID deaths, but that is the official death count. There's been a lot of talk lately about how much that number may be undercounted. General Hoyer, could you talk a little bit about, your confidence in the accuracy of our death toll? I know you've talked before about the work that the data folks at WVU are doing and the constant reconciliation process. Could you talk just a little bit about that figure? Thank you.
General, you're popular today, sir. Go again, please.
Yes, sir, Governor. And I'm going to ask Secretary Crouch to help me with this. But I think, Charles, a couple of things that have gone on here in West Virginia with our team at DHHR. We have gone to the automated reporting system that I think helps us with those numbers. In addition, as you've heard Dr. Amjad, Secretary Crouch talk about, our folks at DHHR, as well as the data folks that support them through the GIADF, have worked, and our DHHR team exceptionally hard on reconciling numbers and continuing to reconcile numbers and continuing to give the governor those updates. So I think West Virginia is doing a pretty good job of staying fairly accurate, but there will be continued changes that we'll have to make over time. Secretary?
Yeah, thank you, General, and thanks, Charles. As you know, we started a reporting system that was manual when basically when this pandemic first began. The governor has always demanded that we have accurate information, and we've worked really hard to do that. And we have some great staff who have pushed really hard to make sure that information is accurate. As with any data set, there are going to be changes to the data as you move forward. So that's why we began the reconciliation process, to make sure that we were looking at those death certificates that came in subsequent to the death report information that we were getting. Beginning January 1, we started the electronic death reporting system, which has worked very well. Still have a few bugs with folks that are having difficulty transitioning. As with any death report, you have to have a signature of a physician or the appropriate person in terms of making sure that death is certified. So sometimes we still wait on that a little bit before the electronic piece comes through. But it has speeded the process up significantly. We've looked at reports coming in from physicians that were taking 30 days sometimes in terms of the manual report. Now we're doing that in a couple of days. So it has helped. It's very accurate. We have reconciled these numbers to make sure they're as accurate as they can be. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Charles. Next, we'll go to Mark Curtis with Nexstar Media.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Governor. I have a non-COVID related question this morning for the governor. And I know you're having the announcement at 4 o'clock in Welch with regard to the Coalfields Expressway. And so maybe you're going to hold off on some of the information until then. That's fine. But I want to kind of ask a more global, big picture question about that project. It was initially funded in 1991 by Congress in another big infrastructure bill. It's taken 31 years to get us to this point, and it's still not done. What is the significance of the Coalfields Expressway going to mean to the economy of this state? And maybe the name Coalfields is a misnomer. It's not just for coal trucks. This potentially opens up a new path of transportation and commerce for southern West Virginia. So talk big picture about the overall importance of this and how significant it could be to our state's economy in attracting new businesses here.
Well, Mark, this is an easy one for me because I grew up in southern West Virginia, and I guess that it was titled or named the Coalfield Expressway or the King Coal Highway and everything because at this time, 30 years ago plus, coal was surely really significant, especially in southern West Virginia. But Mark, the bottom line of the whole thing is with the coal industry, depleting, and now we see a resurgence that's going on. I believed that was going to happen and everything. Don't know how long it'll last, but it's surely significantly better today. But with all of that, Mark, I go back to just this. I hate to say this way because it sounds, this is like it or not like it. This is out of my personality. But when I was running for office, the Coalfield Expressway went through, Crab Orchard, and then it went out there just a little ways and just stopped. And it just laid there dormant forever and ever and ever. I mean, I'm talking about for 10 years plus, I don't know exactly how long. The primary first grading was done, but no pavement, no drain work, all that kind of stuff, nothing. And I was out there, and there was at least a possibility, if we really pushed really hard, we could at least get that 10-mile section done. And I said, I'm going to build the damn road. Well, that's exactly how I feel. And I still feel exactly that way, because the Coalfield Expressway brings southern West Virginia, or the world, to southern West Virginia. Not coal, not just coal by any stretch of the imagination. There's so many opportunities. Mark, I even go back way further than that. And there's a prison right there, right outside of Welch. Governor Underwood was instrumental in this and everything, but somebody had to do the clearing work and prepare the ground and create the level site for that to happen. They had to have a mining company to do that. Now, it sounds like I'm really tooting my own horn, but at the same time, there was bids. There was bids that went in. There was a very, very, very finite amount of money and everything. The bids ranged from, I don't know, $2.6 million to all the way to where the next bid was in excess of $20 million. They couldn't have done the project. You know who was at $2.6 million? Bluestone, a company that we still have today, but at that time, we did the work. We leveled the land. And they built a section of the highway, roughed it in right there, right behind the prison. And it's sat there for now probably 20 years, incomplete. Absolutely, we need the Coalfield Expressway done. We need it done to where those folks can be in counties that are so beautiful it's off the chart. But those folks need to be brought into all this goodness that's going on all across our state right now. Now, things are better there, but we need to make it really better there. So I'm really, really proud, really proud. We got the 10 miles to Mullins. Now we're going to have another big section right there, right outside of Welch. And my goal is to get it done. Get it done. Going back to day one, build the damn road. These people have absolutely been neglected for too long. That's exactly what I'm going to do. And so some way, somehow, we got to get it done. And we're working it really hard. We're going to bring the southern end of West Virginia right in with all of us, and more goodness coming our way.
All right, thanks, Mark. Next to Randy Yohe with West Virginia Public Broadcasting.
And good morning, everybody. Hey, let me say, I'm over 65. I got my second booster the other day. It took me 5 minutes, and I didn't have to get out of my car, and I've had no side effects. So that's whatever. Over 65, do it.
There you go.
I've got two questions, one for the governor and one for Secretary Crouch. Governor, let's stick with Coalfield Revitalization. The newly legislated Coalfield Communities Grant Facilitation Commission. Its objective is to funnel federal dollars in the form of matching grants to revitalize these coal communities. So that commission chair, Secretary of Economic Development, Mitch Carmichael, told me $250 million, billion with a B or more, in seed funding was feasible and would provide a much needed start. So you allocate the incoming federal funds in July, if I understand right. Is Carmichael's hopeful estimate to fund those Coalfield Communities Grant Commission on point?
Is Randy, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Randy, I want to make sure and everything. But Randy, I don't know why, but I was really having trouble hearing, and maybe it's just because I don't hear real well. But nevertheless, I think I've got enough of it to just say this to you. from the standpoint of economic development and the federal dollars that are coming, there is real opportunity, to be able to help those communities and help people, in those communities seek other opportunities and all kinds of stuff like that. But for a lot of this from the standpoint of what we have right now, I think it's preliminary information, and everything. But we're really hopeful. We're really hopeful. We're working it like crazy, and we'll get to we'll absolutely have everything and be teed up and ready to go, and really hopeful we'll be able to help these people in a lot of different ways. Let me say one other thing about the Coalfield Expressway. Jimmy Riston is doing phenomenal work, and what we're trying to do, especially right now with the coal prices significantly higher and everything, we're trying to find ways to utilize, maybe following the coal seam and extracting some of the coal as incidental coal and everything, and letting that help us pay for more and more of this project down there and everything. But Randy, first of all, congratulations. I'm really happy that you spoke up and everything about getting your booster shot, because that's really good. And that helps a lot of folks get across the finish line as well. But the next thing is, as far as those federal dollars, being able to help the folks in the coal fields and in those areas to make things better in every way. I don't have all the information. We'll get more and more data, and I'll surely update you from time to time. But thank you for bringing that up as well. And the last thing, just what I just said about the Coalfield Expressway. The bottom line of the whole thing: find a way to build the road. Find a way to build the road. That's all there is to it. And bring that area or that section of our state right into the goodness of all the great stuff that we're doing right now.
Okay, I'll wait for that funding information. I got a quick question for Secretary Crouch. Secretary, you wanted to ensure that the 15% raises that were promised to Child Protective Services workers went into effect prior to the July 1st statewide employee raises. So I just wondered how the position collapsing and reorganization challenges progressed while maintaining, as you said, these positions needed to provide essential services.
Great. Thank you, Randy. And congratulations again. That is absolutely terrific getting your second booster. I got mine as well, so that's good. It is a little difficult in terms of looking at existing positions and trying to pull money from those and redirect those to salaries, but we're on target to do that. We actually thought we'd have an announcement this week. That announcement will be next week. We're working hard. The governor has directed me to do that, and we're going to do it. So we have a couple of things we're going to announce next week. So we're moving very, very hard with regard to that issue and the child welfare issue. We have a lot to do there, and we're going to get some things done here. So we'll have an announcement for you next week. Thank you, Randy.
All right, thank you, Randy. Next, we'll go to Paul Mullen with WCBC.
Good morning, Governor. Good morning, everyone. Governor, I wanted to get your reaction to the Alex Mooney over David McKinley win on Tuesday in the primary. And if you thought that came down to Congressman McKinley's support for the infrastructure bill. I know you supported Congressman McKinley. Give me your reaction to that.
Well, Paul, I always try to just take things head on and everything and tell you the truth. First of all, I'm a real supporter of President Trump and his whole family. I know him really well, and I'm close with all of them. His endorsement of Congressman Mooney was driven primarily because of his disappointment, of Congressman McKinley's vote on two issues. One was on the investigative issue surrounding January 6th, and the other one was on the infrastructure bill. I'm sure the first one probably drew more attention, from President Trump, but nevertheless, his endorsement of Alex Mooney was all surrounded by just that. Personally, I believe that Congressman McKinley, being a seventh generation West Virginian, was carried the day. I don't have any qualms whatsoever to say that in this particular issue, I think the Trump endorsement of Congressman Mooney, was very significant, and there's no question, that carried the day. I do not believe that Congressman Mooney, was as strong a candidate for that position as Congressman McKinley from the standpoint of just looking out after West Virginians. That was my feelings and everything, and from that standpoint, that's what I want more than anything. There's no question that we have gone awry beyond belief on a national level. And I'm sure that President Trump is thinking of absolutely just how crazy things are on a national level today. From the standpoint of Congressman McKinley's vote in regard to the January 6th issue, I told him point blank, after that happened and everything, I said, bad move, bad move. That's just all there is to it. From the standpoint, and I didn't agree with it, I won't agree with it ever. From the standpoint of his vote on infrastructure, if I had to make that vote for West Virginia, I would make that vote. Absolutely, with all in me. He made the right vote in regard to the infrastructure bill. And so from the standpoint of West Virginians, it was the right thing to do. From the standpoint of this crazy politics and what all's going on and everybody's, running in 50 different directions, my comments about Alex Mooney are really simple. I mean, you've got a governor that's sitting down here and you got a state that's doing all kinds of good stuff and everything. Should he not be involved? And he's not. I mean, I've met with him one time since I've been in office, and it's, that's not what we ought to be doing. Congressman McKinley is talking to me nonstop and has been doing so forever and a day. But politics are politics and everything. And I totally understand all the frustration that's going on in D.C. I love President Trump beyond good sense, and with all in me, I totally understand how crazy things are in D.C. And so, from the standpoint of where we go, I hope to goodness that Congressman Mooney will really get involved in what's going on in West Virginia. Call me, us try to work together, try to do anything and everything I can to help him, and that's what I will do.
All right, thanks, Paul. Governor, I'll turn it back to you.
I just go back to just this, and I just caught the end of it, but I think General Hoyer said that, as far as progress and far as getting people their first shots, I think the number was 142 yesterday. Well, that's real. It's tangible. I mean, that's all there is to it. I mean, how many of those people now are not going to end up on this list? And then what I say over and over, is it one? If it's one, what's that life worth? Let's quantify it. What's that life worth? You can't do it, and neither can I. So it's significant. It's a reason to be here. It's a reason to be doing what we're doing. He also said just this, and I think this is right, but in 10 combat events, monstrous combat events, we've lost 659,287 people. It's unbelievable. 659,287 in 10 gigantic combat events. And he also went on to say that's 340,713 short of what we've now lost in this terrible pandemic. It's unbelievable. And if that isn't enough for you, then he said 95% of those are 50 and older. And if you're 50 and older and you're not taking this vaccine, or you're 50 and older and you're not getting your booster shot, I don't think it's wise. I'm going to respect it, but I don't think it's wise. So with all that being said and everything, let's just keep on going and keep on doing good things. Let's turn Friday the 13th into a great day for the Coalfield Expressways and a continued great day in every way for West Virginia. Thank you so much. God bless each and every one of you.